I am in focus. What's up, guys? My car died. Well, not necessarily the car, the clutch just kind of went out on me. It's more specifically the slave cylinder. For whatever reason, Nissan decided to make the slave cylinder inside the transmission housing. That's bad in so many ways. One, if and when the slave cylinder goes out, and in these cars, you never know when they'll go out. They can go out tomorrow, they can go out in 6 months. You have to drop the transmission to replace that part. Two, it gets really hot in the housing. So with that heat buildup, the slave cylinder is more prone to become defective or to be worn out. Since I'm having to drop the transmission regardless, because at the time when it happened, I wasn't sure if my clutch was bad or if my slave cylinder was bad. I found out there was a slave cylinder. I wasn't getting enough pressure and the car just wasn't going into gear. I went with the game plan of buying a whole new clutch set, a CSC elimination kit with a new master cylinder. I didn't want to cut any corners. I wanted to do this one right.
We got the Z1 lightweight flywheel, Z1 clutch and pressure plate, and last but not least, we got the Z1 centric slave elimination kit. So basically what this kit does, it changes the 370C G37 centric slave cylinder, which is inside the transmission, takes it to a traditional clutch and fork system like the older G35 and 350Z. We have our pilot bearing and a line tool, master cylinder. We got the coil throwout bearing. So when your CSC goes out, a lot of the times the oil is contaminated. After some more time, it can take out the master cylinder as well. So you just go ahead and get that taken care of so you're not left stranded. Pressure plate, clutch disc. We got the sprung version. This is a good clutch disc to use for like a daily driven car. That way, you know, clutch engagement isn't very aggressive and real smooth. Here we have the lightweight flywheel. What is it, 17 pounds?
Yeah, the lightweight is 17.
Did you get midweight or?
I got the midweight.
Yeah, maintain RPMs, and then you won't lose a lot of torque with this. But the good thing about this is a single mass, so you know you're able to rev your engine a lot higher. But downside about a single mass flywheel is you will hear a lot more clutch chatter. But what VQs don't have clutch chatter, you know? So yeah, there it is.
That's Alex. He's gonna be helping me with that broken thing up there. And I still have a single mass flywheel, but I went with the midweight instead of the lightweight because I'm trying to make this car a little bit more daily friendly. But because it's still a single mass flywheel, it still has the VQ chatter, but instead of the lightweight chatter that goes like, it has the midweight chatter. It's a lot lower, so it's more like, and the rev matches sound so much better. My gears are shifting like butter. Originally for this video, I wanted to learn how to do it myself. I've done transmission for other cars, but I've never done it for this car. I wanted to have more hands-on experience. However, because the shop is so busy, I couldn't do that. And Alex, he manages a lot of executive things at the shop, so he's always on call and he may or may not have to step out of the shop. We had another guy that was doing basically the whole thing while Alex was overseeing the job. Big thanks to this guy for fixing my car. What was your name?
Billy.
Billy.
Yeah.
Billy at Tucker Auto. The best. Okay, so on to how to do this. Dropping the transmission is the same as dropping any manual transmission car or your average transmission car. What we got going on today, man?
Taking apart the shifter assembly real quick.
So first thing you want to do is you undo the shifter assembly. Once you undo the shifter assembly, then you want to undo the transmission mount, the drive shaft, and all the bolts holding the housing to the engine. And make sure you unplug all these sensors from the transmission. Once that is done, drop the housing down, and inside the housing there's this faceplate. I don't know the technical term for it, but I'll show it in the video. That faceplate gets changed out because the slave cylinder setup gets changed out. So from the slave cylinder being on the inside of the housing, it's now shifted to the outside of the housing like this, and I'll show what the setup looks like in the video. Once all that's done, all it is just sealing it up like you would any other manual transmission. But the key thing is the math involved for the slave cylinder assembly in conjunction with the clutch kit.
Measuring the stack height of this clutch. That way, pivot ball inside the transmission, you have to put a certain amount of shims. That way your clutch engagement is smooth and you're not grinding gears. So basically what I did was use a clutch align tool. I centered it to the bottom of the flywheel, and then I made a mark right here to like make a mark for the top of the clutch plate, pressure plate. And then basically I use this tool to measure the stack height of this clutch, which is 82.7. Then from there, I'll show you guys what we do. Right here, they already have pre-calculations for everything, but every clutch has a different stack height. See, this one says Z1 HR kit with the Z1 flywheel is 82.5 millimeters. This particular clutch right here was 82.7. So what we do here, we use this equation and we just input our calculations here. So what we do is negative 0.663 times 82.7, which is our adjusted stack height. And we got 54. We got 54 plus, oh my god, plus 61.50. Our stack height for this clutch is going to be 6.6 millimeters, 6.7. Basically, we have to measure 7 millimeter for the stack height of this clutch. So
that's why they provided so many washers?
Yeah. The kit's going to come with, exactly how much you need. Hold on, let me clear this out. 0 and then millimeter. Okay. So 5, we got to get to 7. So I believe this should be 7 millimeters. So I'm going to zero out my caliper and measure 2.3. 2.3, yep, that should be perfect. Take this one out.
And my specific clutch kit was the Z1 Performance with the Z1 midweight flywheel. So you get all that done. It's the transmission housing is clean. Everything has been cleaned. You put it back up. You reverse engineer the whole process. Bleed out the clutch system. By the way, when you get the CSC elimination kit, it comes with a whole new stainless steel clutch line. So that OEM clutch line, garbage. It looks weak anyway, and honestly, my clutch line looked like it was about to go out at any time. My whole setup down there looks real good right now. Huge shout outs to Alex and TS1 for organizing this whole job for me, because after having gone through this whole process, even if I attempted it at home, it would have not been successful. 1, I did not have enough tools. 2, I did not have enough knowledge with the CSC elimination kit, who thankfully I have Alex for. Alex and his family has done this for like 6-7 other 370Zs. The most important part of this video is the CSC elimination kit. I went with the CSC elimination kit because I wanted to move the slave cylinder from the inside of the housing to the outside, essentially making the transmission what Alex calls more like a 350Z transmission. It makes it a lot more simple. So whenever I have hydraulic issues in the future, I can just go under my car and replace it instead of having to drop the whole transmission.
Yeah, the good thing about this system is that it's a lot more reliable. BQs, like 370Z G37s, the eccentric slave cylinder is known for going out right above 65,000 miles, some even less miles. Because the eccentric slave cylinder gets so hot with it being inside the transmission, that it starts to lose power, and then sometimes it won't hold any pressure anymore. So you would lose clutch. I said that completely wrong, but you know what I mean. So basically, the install was smooth. It's not our first install. This is like our 7th one so far. And basically, the hardest part about this install was just making the correct measurements on the stack height of the clutch. And then what else? And then again, this car was from the north, so we did have a couple issues with know, the bolts on the exhaust with being seized and stuff like that, but we haven't done it. So, you know, shifting gears, you know, to even, you know, starting off in first gear, it's a lot smoother. And then it's just, there, like after going fast, the clutch doesn't get spongy. You know, and you know, that it feels like a race car. You know, my shop is TS1 Auto Works. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram. A lot of plans coming for the next year. Site coming soon, where everyone is gonna be able to purchase all the parts and everything. I'm looking forward to it. A one-stop shop. We do body work, auto work, anything. Got you taken care of.
So sorry about some bad audio on some of the clips. I totally forgot that I had my camera set for filmmaking, so a lot of the clips had no mic limiter, so the audio levels were like through the roof. It was always in the reds. Especially working in the garage or like in the car where there was a lot of wind noises and the engine noises. Billy, thank you so much for your patience. I know my car was a bitch to work with. It came from up north, so much rust, so many seized bolts, but you got the job done. Thank you so much. Billy really took care of my car. He made sure he didn't cut any corners. He made sure he did the job right. Thank you again so much, Alex and TS1 and Tucker and the entire family for taking care of me. Thank you for doing this for me. This was a huge thing. My car, I couldn't stand my car being dead. And now I get to drive it again. Thank you so much to you guys. That was it. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Catch you guys on the next one. Peace.
Yes.